is it's quite a toxic.
I am 1,000,000% feeling the pressure this month. Look, I don't know, I'm speculating that they unfortunately got kicked off of Meta quotes are blown to bits. We'll see how we go. I'll keep you updated on the trade, how to make the platform better. Algorithms, banks, understanding, getting in with the big money.
What's going on, everyone? How are we doing? It's Monday morning. I'm in the kitchen, just making some breakfast. Eggs on sourdough. Had a lovely gym session this morning, nice push session, and then just got back, had a shower. Cold this morning, man, like 0 degrees. But yeah, looking forward to a fantastic week ahead. Kids are off school this week, and kind of leads into a topic I wanted to talk about. On Friday when I was at the Falcon meetup, I was chatting to a few people, and I get this question quite a lot. People ask me, how do you balance, like, you know, the whole family thing, partner, parent, work, all that sort of stuff. And look, like, one thing I want to really highlight straight off the bat is it's quite a toxic kind of industry, that whole productivity thing. And one thing I came to realise is, like, you know, there's no right or wrong. It's just like when you have a kid, you know, people give you these specific ways perhaps to parent, and there's always this, you should do this, you should do that. But at the end of the day, you kind of find your way yourself, whatever that might be, and you just find what works for you, right? Everyone always gives you their view or their opinion, but usually it's because it's what worked for them, right? Now, what worked for me is obviously having a solid routine. When I say I'm going to do something, doing it, and being disciplined enough to go, right, okay, this is what I need to do, this is what I need to achieve today. I'm aware that they're off this week, so obviously I want to be able to spend some time with them and see them, but I have work, I have things to do. So fortunately enough, this week Steph's off as well, so it makes it a little bit easier. They've got a few days we're going to do bits and bobs together, but obviously I don't want to just be like always at home and them out doing stuff. And I think a lot of parents, or, you know, parents to be, find themselves in this situation. I was speaking to someone the other day, they got a newborn on the way, and they were like, you know, what did you do, how did you figure it out, and, you know, how do you get so much done? And it sounds cliche, but it literally comes from, one, time management, two, having a to-do list, and just prioritising what actually needs doing today. Like, I've said it for years now, write down, whether it's in your phone or a journal or whatever it is, just write down one thing today that you need to achieve, the most important thing, and just ensure you get that done. And obviously all these productivity tips and these hacks, you know, obviously it's a big industry, right? People make a lot of money off it, and some of them might work, some of them are amazing for you, some of them won't work. And what you can do is you can get into this kind of toxic loop where all you're ever doing is searching for this new thing, this new way to do said thing. But often it's just like, go with what works for you, because ultimately that's what's going to work long term. That's what's going to give you this sustainability to do it. Other than that, I am long on EU today, so we'll see if we get any setups. We've got a couple of meetings and a couple of bits and bobs to sort out. Someone asked me the other day, do I trade ICT? No. Again, that's not any shade towards ICT, but not everybody on the planet trades ICT because they look at certain things that may be similar. Tapping people, it's New York session. I have just finished a couple of meetings. When I was on one of them, I managed to get in an EU long that I was looking at this morning. So I actually took a long this morning over here, up here. When it swept this, I basically took a long, got a break even on it, so got risk off, is what it is, was a little bit wrong. Then this morning, and then obviously we've continued, followed through, taken out a large area of liquidity here, taken out this low here, still have risk on the trade at the moment. So then I got in here, once we kind of had this break and shift back in, I got in here. We'll see how we go, I'll keep you updated on the trade. This is a new trade journaling software I'm trying out. It's called My Trade Journey, and fairly new company. They also have back testing included. What I like about them as well is they're very much open to new ideas on how to innovate, how to make the platform better. I've already suggested a black and white theme. I don't really love the colours at the moment. And I've also suggested a couple of things which no online journal or automated software has at the moment. And if they can include it and they can pull it off, it will be absolutely game changing. As you can see here, there's the break even this morning. And then that was that. I only connected this literally last week. This is just another account that I use, and it's now my master account, so I'll log on here. I don't really add in all my props and stuff, but you can add up to, I believe, like 15 accounts on here, and it's really reasonably priced. It's actually the cheapest I found online for automated trade journaling. Back testing here, which you can load up, and you can obviously do a whole new session. If you click in here, you can put all your balance in, start date, the strategy, everything, pulls through all your data. Obviously, you've got the daily journal. They're very much open and willing to make changes. You know, I've suggested maybe the font and a couple of things could be improved as well, but they're completely open to, you know, new feedback, new suggestions. So again, if you check this out, request some things. But yeah, so far it seems really good. Obviously, I'm a big fan of Notion. I use my Notion, and my Notion is very, very in-depth and very detailed. So I want to see if they can almost bring that to this. I'll leave a link in the description so you can check it out. They've given me like a free trial for you guys and girls to use. So by all means, check out the free trial. If you like it, then amazing. If you don't, you don't. But obviously, like I say, new company, willing to take on feedback. And they reached out and said, "Do I want to try the platform?" And I said, "Yeah, let's give it a whirl." So, because I'd gone back to Notion, I wasn't using automated journaling. I just found a lot of them lack certain things, and if I can help them kind of build it into something that, from a trader's perspective, I think traders need, then I'm all for it. So I'll keep you posted on that. That pretty much wraps up Monday, and I'll probably be at the charts for another sort of half an hour, and then I'm gonna shut off for the day, go and chill with the kids, and make some food. What's happening, everyone? How we doing? It's Tuesday. Got physio at 10, which obviously been getting due to my abdomen, groin pain. Like I said before, I've got tight hip flexors, glutes, hamstrings, all these different areas. There's another muscle called the psoas or something that's like underneath your abs that kind of connects everything. That's a bit grumpy, so I've been doing some work on that. And to be fair, I'm feeling really good. Like, I highly recommend physio in general, like sports massages, all that sort of stuff. It's always good. And yeah, that's been really helping. So keen to see how we're developing there. And then I need to pop to the shop and get some stuff for pancake day. So obviously it's pancake day, so I need to make some pancakes later with the girls. It's also CPI today, so very much mindful that it might be a quiet day. I am long bias as it stands, but there is a nice 1 hour POI that we might see shorts from. But we'll see. If the longs come, I'll get in them, but I won't be in any trades come CPI, and I'll only trade after the drop. I never trade before the drop. I don't care how good you are or what edge you've got. If you're trading before the drop of things like CPI, which can do 60, 70, 80 pips like that, you're literally asking for your accounts to be blown to bits. I can only imagine today will be a day a lot of people will gamble their prop accounts and whatnot. So yeah, it's just not a bit of me. I'll trade after. Resent off a gut test. It said sort of do 2 weeks and resend one off. And my inflammation that I had has gone down. So I need to keep an eye on that. I need to work out if it's food related in any way, but they're saying I've got negative tests across the board now, which is good. So that and physio potentially, and keeping the diet on track, and maybe what was wrong in the first place. It could be a mixture of, you know, inflammation in the gut, the muscles and everything crossing over on that psoas and all that sort of stuff. It's quite a busy area, right? So it could have been stuff like that. We'll see. Obviously, I've had so many in-depth tests and scans and stuff that, you know, I feel confident that I'm all good, which is good. And like I said before, you know, health's everything, so don't sleep on that. So I actually took a trade this morning. It did hit 1 to 5, but it took me out. So unfortunate, but it is what it is. You know, it's easy for me to go, oh, I should have put my stop there. I didn't, so it is what it is. I got risk off really quick on this. I didn't like the way it was forming. I didn't like where we was. And I was playing before this liquidity. A little bit off the ball this morning. I was chatting to the little ones and that, obviously they're off school. Again, my own beef, no one else's beef. But I sort of got in it without realising there was that massive pool of liquidity. I just didn't like the look of it. So I actually went BE as soon as this pushed up. Once it pushed up, it pretty much come and took me out. But it ended up being a reduced loss because I didn't quite go where I got tagged in. Yeah, so I took a reduced loss. Should have been 1%. Obviously, it's not. It's 100k account. So basically 0.5% L. It's quite a poor trade, to be honest, and it's one that I could have avoided, but I just wasn't quite in the zone, and that's my own fault. And look, that is completely normal. Like, that happens. Again, it goes back to, you know, finding the balance, finding, you know, if the kids come in and they want to chat to me and we're playing in the morning, they're off school. I'm not going to like get out. I'm not spending time with you. I've got work, because for me, that's not why I did this. And obviously they're only little ones and they're growing pretty quick, and it makes you realise, like, at one point they're not going to want to play anymore and they're not going to want to do stuff. And, you know, if I'm just ushering them away because I've got to focus, I feel like that's just bad, and that's not for me. Like, I'd rather give them the time. So yeah, I took the trade a little bit unfocused. It is what it is. There's always lessons in that, but at the same time, the kids come first. So if they want to play, especially while they're off, I just have to add that into the routine, and that's okay. You don't have to feel guilty about that. You don't have to get the ump about that. It's just part of it. What is going on, everyone? It's Wednesday morning. Happy Valentine's Day to you beautiful people. I hope you all had a splendid day. Let me know in the comments your best chat up lines, your best riz, whatever it is. I, unfortunately, this morning tried to riz up EU and she ran away from me, but it's all good in the hood. So EU this morning, yeah, after CPI yesterday, kind of just fell out of the sky, and I was looking for shorts again this morning. I was looking for this to be taken out, and I wanted to target these lows as they hadn't been taken out yet. But unfortunately, it came up remitigated, which happens very often, as we notice, and it took that out. Hasn't completely run yet. Looks like we're going to be setting up for a New York potential trade. However, now that that's gone and we've done that, often that does happen. We'll see what comes in New York. I've gone down a rabbit hole, and these are dangerous rabbit holes. I've started deciding that I need to change my thumbnails, just because I feel like now that I do vlogs and stuff, I should probably update the thumbnails because they kind of don't go with what I do. However, problem now, I don't know what one's better. So let me know in the comments, do you prefer 2 pictures, 4 pictures, or maybe 3 pictures? Like, what are we saying? What do we reckon works?
I will not be able to have one that's like that and the other one's not like that, so I've got to make 11. And before I do that, I need to know what kind of theme I want to roll with, because once I've rolled with it, I've rolled with it. So let me know in the comments. By this time you watch this, I've probably already decided what to do, and you'll probably see the new ones. But yeah, always looking for feedback, what you think looks better. I kind of like the 4. Problem is, I don't know if every week I'm going to have 4 pictures that I can fit in. I feel like 2 and 3 is probably better. Steph got me a stressy, fidgety love heart, living the dream. And they've got a pomegranate candle. But it doesn't match my desk, so it's going somewhere else because it's red. Proper ungrateful, innit? I don't really know if the photos work. They're different. Honestly, this sort of stuff sends my head because I end up being there for ages. But yeah, let me know in the comments what one you prefer. I'm going to go make a coffee and I will pick this back up in a little bit. Good morning, everyone. It's Thursday. I'm in the car. I'm on my way to get a haircut because I am looking like a microphone out here. Yesterday, I got an email from Funding Pips that they unfortunately got kicked off of MetaQuotes, essentially the broker they were using. Blackball had to get rid of them, and you know, again, it's just funny at this point. Like, all you can do is laugh, right? It's not ideal. We know this is uncertain times for prop, like 1,000,000%. I've been having a few different conversations as to what's going on with different people in the space. Some are prop owners, some are broker owners. You know, it's becoming quite apparent that it looks like majority of brokers are going to get booted off MetaQuotes. I think Markets is probably next, 8cap's probably next. Not to spread like fear or anything, but you need to be aware. You need to be aware of it. You need to be prepared for it. And there's not a lot we can do about it. Obviously, a lot of props are looking to transition to DX trade, which looks arse, by the way. From what I've seen, anyway, it doesn't look good. But again, we move, we adapt. Obviously, C Trader is one of them as well. I mean, FTMO have already got C Trader, and to be honest, I was thinking about this yesterday. Like, whether FTMO foresaw this coming or not, look, I don't know. I'm speculating. But the fact they got C Trader already, the fact that they bought that Quantaline business or company or whatever it was a couple of months ago, maybe they were gearing up for something like this happening and they're protecting themselves. So again, interesting. Obviously, you've got a couple of other firms that, you know, have got things in place. But my biggest question is what happens if DX Trade and C Trader get the same pressure? Because MetaQuotes are getting pressured. They're putting pressure on the brokers. Brokers are scared to work with props. It's something to do with licensing and the way demo accounts work and some other stuff, and obviously the CFTC in America applying pressure on MetaQuotes and all this different stuff. Again, these are all things that are like an accumulation. I've also heard that it's because the big brokers finally want to get into the prop space and they're not looking to share with anyone, so they're almost trying to get rid of people, and they're like, if you ain't got a license, we've got our license, sort of get in the bin. You never know the exacts until it's kind of happened. Obviously, everyone gives you a very grey kind of picture online, or they tell you what you want to hear. I think the props are handling it fairly well from what I'm seeing. Obviously, it's new territory for them. You've got to remember that. They didn't plan for this, I guess. But it does show you how quickly these funded accounts can be taken away from you. It does show you how quickly you can work so hard to get them, right? And then they can just go. You know, people would have been in trades yesterday on Funding Pips, for example, and their trades just got shut out. Now, I have seen them come out and say they're going to obviously honour stuff. You know, if you were in a loss and it got closed out, I think they'll reset your account. If you were in a win, I think they said they'll honour it. I'm not sure how. I think they managed to keep some of the data. But yeah, it's just uncertain times. Do you know what I mean? And I think for me, this really highlights how I need to like pull my finger out in terms of the challenges and bits and bobs I've got and start making serious dough. Not because I want to live off prop dough at all. I've never been a fan of that. It's so I can stick it in things. And one of the biggest things is, you know, Elysium for me, because I've already got a decent amount of money in it, and I'm seeing what it can do, and you know, it's sick, right? So I want to really load up on that across all 3 systems, and to do that, prop's going to be the best way, right? However, again, things happen and you have to deal with the pressure. I am 1,000,000% feeling the pressure this month. February has been abysmal. It has been awful for me. Started with like 4 L's, took 1 win. That 1 win got me out of the L's. I then took 3 BEs, but some of them ended up being small losses, which accrued to nearly a 1% loss. And then I took 2 L's yesterday, which when I'm back, I will show you on the chart. The reason I didn't pick up the camera in the end yesterday, I had a lot of meetings. I was on a call when I was in the trades, and I didn't want to get my camera out and look like I wasn't paying attention. But it's that classic thing of like, you start to overthink, and it happens to me no matter how long you've been in this industry, no matter how long you've traded, no matter how much dough you've made. you're always going to have those thoughts or those casts of doubt or whatever it is. You know, I'm not going to lie, again, I'm super honest, but like the last sort of few days, especially yesterday, it's made me even want to consider like picking a few accounts to just go higher risk on, especially when I'm in a losing streak, because I'm like, well, if I'm down let's say 3-4%, I know my max loss over the last couple of years has been 4%. So if I'm at 4%, should I not load up and risk, 2-3-4% job done? But obviously it's that thing of, well, if you're wrong, mate, whoo, you're willing to take that risk. And obviously nothing good comes from without taking risks. But I've had those thoughts of, do I just punt accounts? Do I just go a bit aggressive on them? But then I'm like, what kind of damage would that cause me when I'm live? Will it cause me damage? But obviously a big thing for me is just like make money from prop, build the personal, build my investments in Elysium, diversify. I want to get into property and different bits and bobs later down the line, but I need a lot of money for that. But I've also got some big goals this year, right? And obviously, you could say the year hasn't started exactly how I'd envisioned it, but all you can do is adapt and we move. And this is the thing, like, people moaning, I just said then, like, DX trade looks arse. If I've got to use it, I've got to use it. There's no ifs, buts, or maybes, because otherwise I can't trade. What am I going to do? Bail the broker up. Big man, stick 50 lots on EU long. By the time I get through and by the time they answer, I've probably missed the move. So, like, there's a lot of things where I'm like, I kind of don't have a choice. I just have to take it on the chin. Yeah, it's uncertain times and we just got to deal with them. We've got to adapt, we've got to move forward, and if things change, they change. But like, I think it highlights, and it's why I've always said, prop firms, as much as they're here and I'm very pro prop, they are not a guarantee, and it shows you how quickly that account can just be yinched away from you. Literally, you could have a live account, something can happen unfortunately out of the props control, boom, see you later. And it's not ideal, and that's why you should never have it all your eggs in one basket. But it's also why, and I'm sharing this for this reason, anyone that's gone full-time or anyone that's a full-time trader themselves, these are the times when you need to be like, whoa, okay, do I really want to just rely on prop?
Often, if I am wanting a quick lunch, I just literally get a pack of rice, pack of veg, microwave, because it keeps most of the nutrients in, and a pack of ready-to-eat chicken, bit of Greek yogurt, job done. For the external, I've taken an L here, and then I waited for that, and that also on the 1 hour went, and I thought, oh, you know what, I'll get in again up here. But there's that thing of the move's essentially done, right? You've had CPI push. Yes, this could go, don't get me wrong, but it's quite far away, right? And then you've got all this liquidity stack, so this move makes sense at that point because you've got something to target. But once that's taken out, yes, it stacks this, which is kind of what sold it to me in the moment. I was like, well, we've still got liquidity to take out, but we'd kind of had like that internal shift down here. We'd sort of taken out this here, we'd remitigated there, we'd ran that, and then we just started to respect order flow. So if you were long yesterday, fair play, you likely made some dough, depending on how you trade. If not, what's happening, everyone? How we doing? It's Friday. So I had already recorded Friday's portion of the vlog, but here I am editing the vlog on Friday, and I deleted it by mistake. Don't ask how, it happened, I'm over it, I'm going again. Had a great leg session this morning. I didn't want to go to the gym, if I'm being honest. I just didn't feel like in the mood this morning. But again, as we know, they're the days you've got to get it done. So we went and got it done. And then came back, made some breakfast. And I was sharing the fact that, I'm struggling a little bit. And essentially, yesterday, as I've said to you already, I've been on a losing streak for February. There's an element of me that started to be a bit like, whoa, what's going on? And I haven't had this feeling in months. Like, genuinely, I haven't had it in months. And one of my biggest things is always focus on the process, not the outcome. But I think what I've done is started to focus on the outcome. And in doing that, it led to me yesterday missing a trade on EU, which ran 1 to 5, which isn't in hindsight. It would have been if I gave you the plan and said, this is my system, go and check this out. You would have gone, oh yeah, there you go, 1 to 5. It ran a lot more. 1 to 5 is where I'm sort of cutting trades at the moment, depending on if they're like pro trend and whatnot. I very rarely do this, but I think what I was doing subconsciously is because I'd taken a bit of a beating, my cheeks have been getting clapped. I started to feel like, oh, you know what, to protect my own energy and to protect myself, I don't want to take that next trade because I think it might lose. And that's a stupid mindset, and it's one that I haven't found myself in for a while, and I'm actually annoyed at myself, not because I missed out on the trade, RR percentage, that will come. The fact that I didn't stick to my process, this is the first time this has happened to me in a long time. So for me, it straight away shows I'm in a heightened emotional state. Clearly, I'm dependent and focused too much on the outcome as opposed to the process. The reason I'm sharing it is more so because no matter how well your shit's together, there can be times where
a multitude of things can happen at once, and it can impact your performance and your decision making. This month has been tough in terms of Feb. Obviously, as I stated you before, trading is a main source of income of mine. Yes, I have other sources, but 1, 2K a month, 3K a month, that don't even cover my bills. I have high outgoings, I have high responsibilities. And obviously everyone forgets tax. That's a big thing that a lot of you forget. I think a lot of people think they just make money and the tax isn't a thing. It is, and it takes a massive portion of your money. And I just have to hold myself accountable to that. That's all I can do. I can't sit here and dwell. I'm not going to take it into today and be in the mood or in the hump or go smoke on the charts to make up for it. I have to realise I missed an opportunity. I didn't take it. So now if I do catch a few L's, then it is what it is. And I think one of the big lessons here is often, and if anyone's traded for a long time, especially the SMC realms or even ICT realms, what a lot of it preaches is algorithms, banks, understanding, getting in with the big money, volume. All these different concepts are thrown around, right? And they sound clever. They make you assume that you know what a bank is doing, which in actual fact, none of us do, especially on TradingView, because I don't even fucking use TradingView. But we assume that, that's where big money got in, or that's where the banks got in, or that IFC or FU or fair value gap or order block is the holy grail. And I think what those systems do and those strategies do is over time, it sends you down a loophole where you literally focus on always wanting to be right. And you also focus on trying to tell yourself, even when you're wrong, you try and give yourself another version of, but it did this, it makes sense. So for example, if I took that trade yesterday, right, and I'll bring the chart up again so you can see. If I take that trade yesterday, in my head yesterday, I said this, CPI high, right, cool. Starting to see bullish order flow. This looks like an obvious target. The daily, we're in this fair value gap, but at the same time, we could hit higher into this order block. We could take this out and then see the reaction. We could come into this, right? All these different thoughts start going through your head, right? And what you start telling yourself is, I'm on the wrong side, but I've just told myself I could be right. So what happens is, if I take this trade, right, and it doesn't work, what I then say to myself is, oh yeah, it didn't work, obviously, because that CPI high and everything we just spoke about. And what I'm doing is I'm failing to admit that I just wasn't right, I was just wrong. And part of my ego and pride is going, no, you was right though, because look, before that happened, you said it would take the CPI high out and it would... Shut up, man. Just a version of us saying we don't want to be wrong. So even when you are wrong, you find a way to try and be right. And what I did, and I haven't done this in a long time, but what I did yesterday is the first time I've noticed this in probably 6 months. I've actually said to myself, I think I'm right against my edge, so I'm going to sit out. And the market's shown me on smoke, on site, you don't know anything, bro. You should have just followed your edge that you've spent years crafting and building and gathering the data and collecting and trading live on. Instead, you didn't. So it's a great lesson, and it's one that I'll take with me. And it hurt a little bit. I'm not going to lie. I did feel a little bit down for a moment yesterday. I was like, what? I don't do this anymore. Why am I like that? But I know how to deal with it, and I have coping mechanisms in place to just switch up and go, right, cool. So from now on, I promise is I will always hit every trade. And again, you guys and girls can keep me accountable, because I'm accountable. I share this. If I don't share a trade and I say, you hear me again saying, I didn't take this trade, I took myself out of it, call me out. Let me know. Come in the comments. Light me up. Gas me. Whatever you got to do. Tell me, why have you been a twat? You said you wanted to take all the positions. Why have you talked yourself out of that? Because my system is very much black and white. It's not like I can talk myself out of much. There's elements of discretion, of course, but bread and butter wise, nothing was saying I shouldn't have took that trade yesterday, apart from my own mind that made up a scenario. So I wanted to share that because it may help someone at home, it may help someone watching. Also been doing a little bit of reflecting. Obviously I'm 30 on Sunday, so makes me realise like, whoa, I've had an incredible 30 years. I'm very grateful for what I've had without getting all cliche and weird, but I'm in a great place in life, and I'm just looking forward to the next 30 years and what they bring. And I feel like these next sort of 10 years are going to be huge for me and the family. And I'm looking forward to all the memories and all the things we create and all the things we do on the channel and things we share with you guys and girls and the community and family we're building together. So I just want to say massive big ups to all of you that support. And we're going away for the weekend, so I'll get some snips of where we go, and that will be in next week's vlog. But unless there's any trades this week, I'm going to call it there, and I'm just going to say have a fantastic week. Let's smash it. Get your A game on. Don't be too hard on yourself if you make these mistakes. We're human. It's normal. Just make sure you learn from them. You're not banging your head off a door consistently and not learning, because that's quite painful. And without further ado, I will catch you in next week's video. Peace and love, gang.